Good morning. I'm StampinDeDe, and this is Stampin Thursday. Today is stepped up stamping. So we're going to take a card from a very basic, simple card, beautiful, and no reason not to use it. But this is where we start with basic card making, basic stamping, basic card making. But then we get to the point where we want to up it just a little bit. So we're going to do that today. We're going to step it up. It's stepped up stamping. Thank you for being here. If you're watching this live, I would love it if you would comment so that I'll know you're here. I love to see who's here, if anybody's watching. And if you're watching the replay, please do the same thing. Let me know that you watched it. I go back and look at all the comments. And if you're watching this on YouTube, my followers on YouTube, thank you so much. If you're not following me, you can just click the subscribe button and hit the bell, and you will be notified every time I have a video that goes live. So, I am so glad to be here with you this morning. If you do not have a demonstrator, somebody that comes along beside you, somebody that you order from, I would love to be that person. And this is my online stamp store. So you can go there and choose me, Deanna Blackman, as your demonstrator. Or you can comment on here, message me, or email me at SuzyZoo, SUZYZOO, at Verizon.net. And I will get back to you and answer any questions that you may have. So let's get started. This is stepped up stamping. And this in front of you is our basic card. This is a beginner card. It's basic white cardstock and just a little bit of designer series paper. And I cut from the Xenia. What is the name of that? Why don't I get those papers out while I'm using them? Well, I have them out while I'm using them. And then I put them back away again. But this is flowering zinnias. This is one of the flowers cut from flowering zinnias. So you see, for this, you don't need any die cuts. You don't need a die cut machine. We haven't gotten that yet, right? We're just a beginner stamper, beginner card maker. So you cut something out from the flowering zinnias designer series paper, and I actually used that paper as well for the sentiment. Now, every beginner stamper needs a set of good sentiments. And Unbounding, let's see, is it Unbounded Love? Unbounded Love is one of those new sets that has just come out. And it has some really awesome sentiments on it. So if you don't have a good sentiment set, this would be a good one to choose from. I'm not using from that set today. I'm using actually from a retired set, because I wanted a happy birthday that was all one line. And so I chose a stamp from a retired set. And then your petal pink ribbon, a bow, simple. This strip, I believe, is 2 inches wide, although it really doesn't matter. Yes, it's 2 inches wide and stretches the length of the card. I took my sentiment, I stamped it, and then I bannered the ends. And that's a really simple way to make a sentiment look nice. So we may do that on the card that I do live here in a few minutes. I'll show you how to banner those ends. All right, so now we want to take this simple card And we want to step it up just a little bit. So to do that, I used another piece of paper out of that same Flowering Zinnias paper pack. And I bordered, I matted this piece of designer series paper. I matted it with another piece of coordinating paper out of that. And this paper I thought coordinated with some of the flowers. The flowers, let me see if I have a whole piece left. I use this paper all the time. So, let's see. I may not have a whole sheet to show you the beautiful flowers, but I certainly can show you part of a sheet. I'm trying to get, yes, here's one of them. So here's one of the sheets in that designer series paper pack. And so that one is this one right here that I just fussy cut. And this one must be this one right here that I also fussy cut. So when we don't have dies yet and a die machine, this is a good option. And a lot of the designer series paper packs now have at least one sheet full of images that can be fussy cut. I know when I was making cards with the retiring, let's see, Let's Go Fishing, I used this paper a lot to cut fish from to put on the card to create a masculine card. So a lot of the papers will have images that you can fussy cut and add to your card without having to have a die cut machine and lots of dies. However, and I added, what else? I matted my sentiment with this same paper, and I didn't banner the ends on that one, and I added a few gems. I still added my bow. So instead of one flower, I've got two. I matted my strip of designer series paper with another strip of designer series paper, and I matted my sentiment with the same designer series paper, added 3 gems, and I have stepped up this card. Now, what we're going to do is take these two, and I'm going to follow that pattern, but I'm not necessarily going to do the very same card because I'm going to really step it up now. So I took my piece of 8.5 by 5.5 basic white cardstock. I burnished it along the score line. But instead of doing my card front right on the card base itself, I'm going to use another piece of basic white paper. But before I use that, I want to stamp it. And there is a background stamp. Let's see. In this Easter Lilies, which is also retiring in just a few days. But I used several things from the Easter Lilies. I used this background stamp. I used this stamp and the coordinating die. And these are standalone leaves. And I thought they really matched these zinnia leaves. So I'll die cut some of those. So here's that background stamp. And I'm going to take it and I'm going to use maybe looking to see what color I'm going to use. Maybe Blackberry Bliss. Maybe some Blackberry Bliss. So I'm just going to stamp it in a couple of places where it will show. So I'm going to stamp it right here. Yeah. And I'm going to stamp it right down here. All right, now I know that those are going to show on my card, on my card front. Let me clean my stamp and set it aside. Now, while I've got this open, I'm going to go ahead and grab a piece of basic white. Here's some scraps. I'm going to go ahead and stamp my sentiment as long as I've got my ink open and I have my happy birthday. And I'm just going to stamp it right in the middle of this one. There we go. Now I've got my stamping done. Well, actually, I don't have all of it done because I do want that leaf. So I think I'm going to go ahead and grab that leaf out of here. I'm going to grab the stamp. And because I'm now moved beyond just a casual stamper, I do have dies. And so I'm going to use my dies. I'm going to stamp and die cut that image, and with the magic of live video, I've already done one so that I didn't have to take time to do that. I've also, I told you, let me get this back in here, that I was going to use these two dies right here to cut out some leaves. And I wanted to do them in different colors because that's the way the leaves. So I believe I used Granny Apple Green and Old Olive. I believe that's what I did. So there's, I've already cut my leaves. I think that's all I cut. So that I don't have to take time to do that either. So let me set these aside. We'll use them in a minute. And I'm through with my ink. So now I'm ready to add my Designer Series paper to my card front. But instead of one piece, I decided I wanted to use strips of Designer Series paper. And I actually cut these from Thoughtful Designs and Tartan Foil. And these two packs of paper have these beautiful shiny specialty papers. So, all right, let me get my, I think I'm just going to use, I'm going to put one strip down. I'll start, come in just a little, like I did on these. A little more. Come in just a little bit more. There we go. All right, we've got that one done. And I want to rotate these colors. So I think I'll do, actually I didn't even do any of these in the tartan foil. I did them all with the Thoughtful Designs specialty paper. So I think I'm going to do it like this. So let me put this one down. And I want to butt it right up against it. That's why I wanted that first one to be straight. Okay. I'm leaving a little hanging off the end so I can trim them. Not have to worry about lining it up with the... There we go. So instead of one piece of designer series paper, I decided to use several strips of designer series paper because we're wanting to really step this card up. All right, let me trim these with my snips. Always trim from the back side. Looks like I might need to add a little bit of adhesive right there, so I'll do that with the liquid. And get these out of the way so I can use them on my next card. And I'm going to add just a little bit right there, right on the edge. All right. Do that. And then I'll give this edge a trim as well. Now, we've got our card front going. We're stepping it up. Let me put my trash away. All right, now I think what I want to do is run this whole thing through my cut and emboss with an embossing folder. And this is something you probably will have accumulated if you are an avid stamper. So I'm going to run this through real quick. And let's see what it looks like. Did I say this is the exposed brick embossing folder? Oh man, you talk about make a difference. That made a difference. That is beautiful. Can you see the embossing? That is so pretty. And I'm glad I stamped before I did that. And I'm glad I put the paper down before I did that. I love that look. All right, I can set these aside. So now I want to, I think what I'll do now is go ahead and add this to my card front. Yeah, I think that's what I'll do. All right. So I just want to center it. I like the white on white. Now I could mat it with something else, but I really like the white on white. I love that look. So I'm going to leave that way. All right. So this is one of the sheets that I have cut up. And I did go ahead and fussy cut one of the flowers. I'm looking to see which ones. I like this one. But I like this one too. I kind of wanted a double one. You know what? I think I'm going to fussy cut this one. It's a double one. These really don't take long to fussy cut. And cut it out. Yeah, I like this one because it's got that pink. All right. think I'm going to cut this one off. And I'll show you a little trick. You know, you just cut around. You don't have to worry with it too much, because you can always come back and fix something that doesn't look right. So can you believe it is the end of April? I mean, April is almost over. You still have last chance items to purchase. So I think there have been more added to the last chance clearance listing. So go check it out. There's some really good deals. Maybe papers that you really wanted but didn't get, or bundles that you didn't get. There's a lot of bundles. So go check it out. And once again, if you don't have somebody that you're actively ordering through, I would love to help you with that. And you can just go to my catalog here, and it will I think it'll automatically set you up with me as your demonstrator. And then if you need any help, just contact me. I will be glad to help you. All right, I'm getting this done here. You've probably heard me say this before. One of my pet peeves, and I know some of you are going to go, oh, but they're so cute. One of my pet peeves are the squirrels in our yard. We do have trees, so we have squirrels. All right, there's that one. Now, I'm not going to use the one that I picked because I really want to bring out that purple. So I'm going to, but I'm not going to worry about that leaf. I'm just going to cut this and fussy cut this purple one. Yeah. And as I position, I may decide to cut more of these leaves off. But anyway, our squirrels are destructive. They're really destructive. They have ruined patio furniture, cushions that I've had out there. We've had to replace our patio umbrella, I think 3 times now. We're on our 3rd one. I had a flag out front, you know, on one of the little decorative flag holders, a small flag, and the squirrel just tore it to pieces. I know they're building nests, or they were. I get that, but I had silk flowers on my front porch. They must have been decorating their nest because they took my silk flowers. We saw them strewn across the yard and saw some under the tree where they have their nest in the yard next door. So we knew what had happened. Anyway, of course, I have put some pot plants out back. And I have one pot in particular that they obviously love. It has marigolds in it. And they have dug the marigolds up and dug a hole in that. I put the dirt back in one time, and I came home yesterday and they had dug them up again. So I sprinkled red pepper flakes in that pot. I hope that keeps them away. All right, here we go. I like that. I like the way it's bringing out the colors. And I want to add some of these leaves. Let me grab them. Come on. So I'm going to move it down closer to the bottom. And I want this one to just come out right up here, maybe. I'll have to trim it off. Just because it's something a little bit different from the other leaves. And I like that variety. Yeah, I'll cut it off right there. Put that on in. Put a couple of leaves there, and maybe one more leaf right down here. Gee, I could cover up the bottom of that with no problems, couldn't I? Except it. I think that's going to look good when I position them. They'll look a little better. Yeah, I like that. All right. So here's what I'm going to do. First of all, I'm going to take this one and cut it down, because I really only want maybe that much of it. And I think it'll be the first thing I put down. So I'm going to put this down with just a little glue at the base. And I'll put it right there. Right there. Right there. Now I'm going to do my flowers on dimensionals. So I think what I'll do is go ahead and get them on, placing the dimensionals so that they're really not, so I can tuck things around them. So I'll put one dimensional here, maybe one right over here, maybe. I think that'll be good. Yeah, I'm not going to put another one down right now. So I'm going to move this out of the way and move these out of the way and put my flower down with a few dimensionals. Now I can tuck these leaves in here behind this. There, I like that. And I'm just going to use some glue on the very bottom. And I'm actually going to take my leaf and bend it up just a little bit. Okay. Glue on the bottom of that one. And this one is going to be the same thing. I'm going to bend it up just a little bit. There we go. Now, I think I'm going to come along and stick another dimensional right there under that leaf. I wasn't sure. Right under there. I'm going to stick that dimensional there. Now we've got this flower to add. Looks like we really didn't need maybe this way. Yeah. All right. So I'm going to add a dimensional down here and one right over here. I may come back in a minute and add another one, but for right now, there. And we're going to tuck this one in right there. You know, that one's dark. Maybe right in between those two. I think I like that. Yeah. So I'm going to cut the bottom of this off. And put a little glue right there. It doesn't take much. And stick it in there so that it does not hang over the edge. There we go. There. All right. It's beginning to come together. Now, our sentiment. And you know, I really want it. Let me see. That's all right. I'm going to put it right there. So I'm going to cut a little bit off of this end and more off of this end, I think. And I'm just going to banner this end. So I'm just going to snip it and then from each corner into the snip. There we go. So that can go right there, and then I'm going to do ribbon. But I wanted to add another color. So I decided, since the center of the flowers are yellow, I decided I wanted to add some yellow to the pink. Now, it makes it a little harder to tie, so bear with me. For one thing, I've got adhesive on my fingers, and that never helps. So I'm just going to take them and make a bow. Get it off my fingers. My poor arthritic fingers. And then I'm going to come around. May not have left enough ribbon, and then I'm going to pull this through. Not sure that I left enough. Let's see. Pull this one through. And do this. Yeah, I think we've got enough ribbon here. There's just enough yellow to pick that up a little bit. Let me see. I'll get my yellow here. Push my yellow out. I don't want it hiding behind the pink. There we go. This yellow is right there. And pull it in just a little bit. Just a little bit. All right, I think we've got it. Still need to pull it in there. Now I'm going to turn it over, and I'm going to put it right there. Let me straighten it up, trim it. All right, we're ready to put it on with a glue dot. Glue dot on there. Put it right there on the end. Well, we can't do that yet because we haven't put the cinnamon on. Let's put some dimensionals on this end. Yeah, and then we're just going to glue this end. Okay. This end already has dimensionals, so we don't need to add a dimensional to that end, but we do need one for this end. There, now we're ready to put this right here. Yeah, I wanted the yellow to show just a little bit. Well, let's see. We have definitely stepped this card up, haven't we? I think what I want to do then is add some gems. These are the 22, 24 in color gems, which are retiring. So I'm trying to use up my retiring products. And I think I like this dark, maybe that purple. I think that's what I'll use. And I'm just going to put them right up here. Put one there. One there. And one right down here. There we go. All right. I think I'm through. Can you think of anything else that I could do to this? All right. Let me get all my bits and pieces out of the way, and I'll spread the 3 cards out, and we'll go over again what we did to step it up. So here is our basic card. This is what we started with. A simple but really nice card using the Designer Series paper where we cut the flower and used our banner, our sentiment. So we take that and we step it up just a little bit. We added another flower. You still used our ribbon. Added a mat behind the main piece of Designer Series paper, and this is also Designer Series paper. This is this piece. So you can see that I matted these two. Did an extra flower, did I say that? Bannered the sentiment, or matted the sentiment, and added some gems. And that really, I think, steps it up to a really nice card. But then we want to go wonkers. We want to go avid with this one. So we used an embossing folder. We used an additional piece of basic white on the front. Instead of a 2-inch piece, I cut these into 1/2 inch pieces. So it's the same width, but a different design using 4 different papers from this Thoughtful Designs Designer Series paper, specialty Designer Series paper. And it really, I think it's got 4 colors in it. Probably the 4 we used, maybe 5. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I don't know if you can see those, but they're also an ombre effect. You see how this fades out? They all do that. And this one fades from a darker shade down to a brighter shade. This one fades out. I've cut part of it from a darker to a brighter, lighter shade. This one you can really see, the green, you can really see the ombre. And then this one almost goes from the purple, I'll do it this way, from the peachy color down to the purple. Very pretty paper, and so much that you can do with this paper. So I highly recommend giving it a try. Thoughtful Designs. Specialty Designer Series paper. So we added that. We did fussy cut an extra flower. We die cut some leaves, stamped and die cut an additional leaf just to tuck in behind the flowers. And we moved more toward the pink, away from the petal pink to more of the pink ribbon. I tightened that up and added some yellow to it. Added gems and a banner, a sentiment, and we're set to go. All right, I hope you enjoy seeing how to take a very basic card, a beginner card, and step it up. So if you have any suggestions or any questions, I love to hear from you. And please comment if you watch the replay or the YouTube video. Thank you so much for being here and following me and encouraging me. So you have a great weekend. Thanks. Bye-bye.